Welcome back. Let's dive right into the deep end. Authorities up and down the West Coast are now searching for the man accused of killing 2 women and kidnapping his son.
One of those women was shot outside an elementary school in Richland, Washington. We have Lee Stoll with us this morning to continue the conversation. Lee, tell us about the events that led up to this Amber Alert, and where do they think the suspect is heading now?
We have been getting a better idea of the timeline as this search stretches on into the next couple of hours. What we do know, as you mentioned, there was a woman who was shot outside of an elementary school in West Richland yesterday afternoon, just as school was getting released for the end of the day. This was really a chaotic situation. Officers had to reunite kids with their families because they had to put several schools into lockdown. Authorities believe that they are looking for a 39-year-old man, Elias Huzar. They believe that he has taken off with his 1-year-old son, Roman. And when they searched his house, unfortunately, they found another woman who was dead at that home. They believe the 2 women who have been killed are Huzar's ex-wife and his girlfriend. At this point, they believe he is trying to make it to Mexico with his young son. That's why that Amber Alert, we've been told, has been issued all across Washington and Oregon, possibly all the way down the West Coast.
Okay, so that's a bit of the timeline. What else do we know about the suspect themselves?
This is what makes this case even more disturbing, because we're following up on reports from our sister stations that we have in the Tri-Cities and in Portland as well. What we're learning is Huzar was actually a former police officer. He had been with the Yakima Police Department, but he has not been an employee there for over a year. But beyond that, we're told he was a school resource officer. He is accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a teenage girl who got pregnant, and also he is charged with rape. He was out on bail that was set at $200,000 back in February, but because he is a former police officer, there is concern. What would he do if he's confronted by law enforcement as they're looking for him now? They are saying that they consider him armed and dangerous, so they are warning anyone, although they are asking the public to keep their eyes open. If they do see anything, do not try to approach him. Call 911 immediately.
Just a scary situation here. Lee, you mentioned the child has been missing since Sunday, and an Amber Alert wasn't posted until late last night. Another high-profile case out of Everett. The death of 4-year-old Ariel also raised many questions about why an Amber Alert wasn't issued sooner for these children. What does it take for authorities to issue Amber Alerts?
Yes, since that case up in Everett, we have heard from law enforcement saying they really want to make sure that people don't start turning a blind eye to an Amber Alert. They don't want it to become run-of-the-mill, something that people just do not pay attention to anymore. So there are specific rules about when an Amber Alert can be issued, and there is some confusion this morning about the information that's being put out about this case. So first, to the Amber Alert, you do, according to law enforcement, it has to be requested by officers to be posted, and then there has to be specific information. They need to know that a child has been abducted. They need to have some sort of description that they can put on those reader boards that are over the roads, a vehicle, possibly a description of the people that they are looking for. They have to have that in place before they put that Amber Alert out. In this case in particular, it sounds like Roman, the little boy, may have been missing since 5 o'clock on Sunday. That Amber Alert wasn't issued until just before 10 o'clock last night. So we're going to be asking about that timeline. And then with the information itself, the Amber Alert we had as we were coming on the news this morning on our sister station KOMO at 4:30 was that officers were looking for a silver Toyota sedan. But then we were hearing from our reporters at our sister station down in Portland that their reader boards were saying that officers were looking for a black 4-door Nissan. Well, it turns out officers are telling us they're looking for both vehicles. Whether or not at some point they believe someone may have changed vehicles as they were moving through where the incident started with that shooting at the elementary school. It sounds like there is a clerk at a store in the Portland area who told a reporter this morning they called law enforcement because they reported seeing the suspect in that black vehicle. But right now, officers are saying they're looking for both cars.
That is a wide net at a time where, you know, time is of the essence right now. Lee, thank you. I think one thing that's particularly difficult about this case is clearly, allegedly, there are these 2 other murders. Yeah. And then we don't know where this boy is. And as we saw, unfortunately, with Ariel, he did not survive. And in this case, you just want to make sure that this little boy can get into some safe hands, because you might be dealing with someone who is desperate after committing 2 murders. Yeah. And, you know,